Hello, my name is Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today we're talking about delving within with kindness and compassion. This is something I regularly do because regardless if there's been an awakening or not, there's things that are unseen or even repressed because it's been not seen for so long you don't even know it's being repressed anymore. There are traumas and other things stored in the body, potentially. Because whatever hasn't been seen, whatever hasn't been fully experienced, remains latently. Like the shadow. They talk about the shadow. And in the shadow, it's like holding a bunch of balls underwater. And it takes effort to hold all this stuff out of sight. And when we're low on energy due to stress, sickness, whatever, sometimes they pop up and they rear their head. And then we quickly repress it again. Or like when I was reading, I think it was called Letting Go, a book by Hawkins, I think. He was talking about anger. And he goes, we've built up this ball of anger, you could say. And when a trigger happens, it's only releasing some of the pressure. But there's this mass of unexperienced anger that we never feel because we're avoiding it. And as long as it hasn't been totally experienced, it will remain. And so you got to understand, whatever is unseen and not fully embraced and experienced remains. And so what I do a lot of times is just with inner body awareness, become aware of what's going on in the body. Where is there little efforts being made, perhaps, to keep things at bay? Is there little tightnesses? Does there seem to be like a wall of demarcation almost? Something's trying to keep separate. Is there a contraction? Is there a kind of a darkness, like you can't, there's something being not seen, not being avoided? Is that there's all different ways to experience it, but there is feeling within the body. Could be a knot, could be any number of things. But once you feel that, yes, here in the body there is something, then you look at it much more deeply. You delve into it. You embrace it with kindness and compassion. You are just trying to feel what's there. So if it's an experience, whatever the feeling may be, you have to go with it and fully experience that feeling and emotion. Now this stuff is stuff that we've been trying to avoid and repress. So most of the time we don't want to feel this. And that's why it's still hanging on. But we must delve into this and fully experience it, fully feel it, embrace it with kindness and compassion. The trick is always to approach it with kindness, compassion, and love. Because say you have a knot, you feel some kind of tightness or a knot. Well, and essentially what's happening is it is keeping itself separate. The knot is other. And you don't know what's inside the knot. It's like totally encapsulated in a way. And so when you embrace it with kindness, compassion, and love, it is a merging. It is a grokking. It's a drinking it in. It is a becoming one with it. Not that you were ever separate, but now that you're willing to fully see it and fully experience it and embrace it for what it is, that changes things. Not that it will necessarily go away, because in no way can you do this in order to try to get it to go away. Do not try to embrace and look at and feel what's going on because you're thinking, well, I can get rid of it this way. Because with that intention, you're following up the process. Because now, with that intention of, if I do this, I can get rid of it, you're already trying to push it away and get rid of it again. You've set up another wall. The only thing we're doing is really seeing what's there. We look, and if we find something, we really look and see what it is. If there's feeling involved or experience involved, fully embrace and fully experience whatever's there. Just leaving yourself open to, if this is a repressed experience, I'll fully experience it now. Without resistance, totally surrendering to the experience that's been avoided. Not to change anything, not to get rid of it, but to simply feel it. Now that it's been seen and embraced, to just feel and be one with it again. In a way, this is what they mean by integrating the shadow. It's not like you're getting rid of the shadow. The whole idea is not to get rid of it. It's to integrate with it. Instead of keeping it as an unseen, separate other. Instead, you're embracing it with kindness and compassion and integrating. It's an interesting exercise, I find. And I do it fairly regularly. Because I may feel some kind of, say, thing in the chest or whatever, or in the gut. There might be a gurgle involved with it too, depends. But I can sometimes feel a little bit of a something. There's something there, as opposed to the openness or spaciousness that the rest of the body feels. There's something more solid, not as unified. And so then I just look at it, embrace it. Drink in the feeling, love, compassion, just trying to experience it. What's there? What's the origin? Accept that too. And a lot of times, the contraction fades. This may or may not release things. That really isn't the point. The point is simply to see what is there, and whatever is found, to embrace it with kindness and compassion and love. That's all it is. And some people might go, well, what's the purpose of this then? There's no end purpose. I'm not trying to get a result from it. It's simply to see what's been avoided or separated, demarcated, whatever, however it's manifesting within myself, within the body, and then just embracing it. It is an interesting exercise, which I do recommend in moderation, because there is potentially releasing, like I said, these repressed things. Do it in moderation, lest you get overwhelmed. But it is an interesting exercise nonetheless. And so, if you got any questions, comments, please post below. But until next time, thank you much.